Hey, welcome to the range here at the Iron Ridge Outdoors channel. This morning, it is stunning outside, but pretty darn chilly. Anyways, I've got the privilege to test out two different 10mm handguns today, and I'm kind of trying to decide which one I want to keep for the long run. I don't really need two of them, I'm just going to keep one. So today's goal is to try and decide which one I shoot better, which one I like better. The guns in question are the Springfield XDM in 10mm. And the other one is a Glock G40. It's a little bit of an oranges to apples to oranges comparison here because, of course, the G40 has a much longer slide. This is not the long slide XDM, but these are the two that I have, and these are the two that I'm trying to decide which one I want to keep for the long run. So I'm going to load these things up and kind of give you my first impressions. Now, I've shot the XDM about 2 megs. There's probably 30 rounds through the XDM. I have not shot the Glock, and so today you're going to see my first rounds and see what I think. First thing I'm going to take a look at here is the XDM. Now this is a 4.5 model, and just in the hand I gotta say it feels pretty good. This is my first XD line of guns. I've never really had any of them before, but I do own other Glocks. And shooting it in the past, I do remember that I liked it. The trigger, a lot of people say that the trigger on the XDM is just worlds better than a Glock. And I don't necessarily disagree, but it's also not worlds better. I mean, it's okay. It's definitely got some creep. Oh, it's alright. I don't mind it. The grip safety, a lot of people hate the grip safety. I don't have any problems with the grip safety. I think it's kind of cool, actually. It's completely out of the way. You don't even have to think about it. I've never heard of them failing, and heck, 1911's had them for a long time, and no one seems to care about them on a 1911. Is it necessary? Probably not. Glocks don't have it, and you don't hear about those going off by themselves. But that's on there. I don't mind it at all. I do like the sights. It's got a fiber optic front sight, which I'm not actually sure if you're going to be able to pick it up on this or not. But let's load this thing up. Now this comes with a 15 rounds magazine, and one thing I wish I had today was some different 10mm, but if you know anything about how 2020 is going, ammo can be a little expensive, a little hard to find. So I'm stoked that I found what I have. So I'm just going to load up 10 rounds, take some shots offhand. I'm not going to really test the accuracy of these two pistols because honestly, they're both going to shoot exceptionally accurate. It's more of what you can hit with. I want more of a practical accuracy than a bench rest accuracy. I was watching some earlier reviews, and some guy picked up the Glock, shot it, and then picked up the XDM, shot it. And his group with the Glock was way better, and he's like, yep, Glock's a way more accurate gun. Not quite. It's not really how it works. Maybe you can shoot the Glock, and he fully admitted to being a Glock shooter and not having shot the XD before, so I thought that was pretty funny. He just was like, yep, Glock's more accurate. Now if you put it in a ransom rest, you put some rounds through them, and you found which one was more accurate, I think you'd find that at, 20 yards, I bet you they wouldn't even be a half inch apart in their accuracy. So alright, I've got 9 or 10 rounds in here, and we are going to shoot the XD. Really quick, before we get to shooting, there's two things I want to mention. First off is that we were just using some American Eagle 180 grain, nothing too hot. I wish I had some hotter stuff to really test out, because that's the stuff I'm going to be carrying. And I might, before I sell one of these, I might actually go out and try and find some of the hot stuff, or just load some up myself. And the second thing is, in this comparison, I'm not going to worry too much about weight, because the way that I carry this, the weight isn't so much of a factor for me. So a long time ago, I made this holster, and it's an oversized holster that's still pretty tight. It's got plenty of retention. Anyways, what it allows you to do is have your gun here. It's a normal pancake holster, but if you want, you can come around, and it has this shoulder strap that you clip on. I don't like a lot of weight on my belt. I find that it tends to pull down my pants, which I don't know, it's due to my lack of gluteus maximus or what have you, but The weight doesn't really matter because it just goes onto my shoulder and I find it really comfortable. So I really like this carry setup for hiking, and it's the only time I ever use it is when I'm out in the woods or hiking. Needless to say, weight, even though the Glock is a bit heavier, when I'm carrying it this way, it's just really not noticeable for me. So these targets, the plate rack is at like 11-12 yards, and then I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to see it because it's white, but there's a 12-inch plate at 20 yards. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shoot the 12-inch plate at 20 yards. I'm gonna put 2 rounds on that, and I'm gonna reholster, and then I'll draw again, and I'll attempt to run the plate rack. And this is the XDM. We're gonna shoot this first and see how it goes. I'll warm up my hands here a little bit. So the recoil on this definitely is not very stout with these ammos, with these rounds here. I really like this holster. It is so comfortable. I got a nice loose belt. The weight is coming around this strap right here. Super comfortable. All right, let's see if I can run a plate rack. It's a 4-inch on the far end, and then 6, and then 8. The size of those. And those 4 inches can be awfully hard to hit sometimes. So let's see how it goes. Alright, I was shooting high on those two on the far right, but not bad. It's a really easy gun to shoot. It definitely has a little bit of recoil. I'm getting a little bit of the recoil at the bottom of the trigger guard. It's kind of hitting my finger a little bit. It doesn't hurt or anything, but it's definitely, I think, something if you were to put like 300 rounds through a speed steel competition, it would get a little bit uncomfortable. But overall, a really comfortable gun to shoot. Let's see if I can hit. There's a 100-yard gong out there, and I'm pretty sure I've got a couple more rounds. So let's go see if I can just swing out the 100-yard dog. I've never shot this gun this far, so we'll see what happens. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna hit that. I'm not gonna hit that. Let's see. I got it. All right, well, it's a sweet gun. I do like it a lot. All right, let's just pop off these last couple rounds. I think I've got 2 or 3 in here. That's a nice shooting gun. I like that a lot. So next up in my little goodie bag here, we have the Glock 40. Now I have not shot this particular Glock. In fact, I've never shot a large frame Glock before. I do own a couple other Glocks. I carry a Glock. I've competed with a Glock 35 that's in 40 cal. And so I've done some USPSA. I've done plenty of speed steel rounds with them. So I'm very familiar with the platform. And so actually this gun feels really comfortable in my hand. I've kind of learned to love them. I do like the adjustable sights. I've never had a problem with Glock sights. In fact, on my competition gun, they're stock. And I've done some pretty good rounds with them for sure. I don't really feel the need to upgrade any of that. Now one spot on these I know I'll get a fat blister right here on my middle finger in this transition right here. For me on a Glock is really sharp. So if I shoot a lot, I know that this will give me that Glock finger and I'll get a big old blood blister right there. So what I've done actually on my other Glocks, I've taken just on this right hand side, because that's where I shoot from, I'll actually come in and radius that off. But other than that, I pretty much keep them stock. Now this one did have, when I purchased it, did have a red dot sight on there, which I like irons for my pistols. For me, they're just a lot easier to get a good sight acquisition. But on rifles, I do love the red dots. Anyways, let's load this thing up, take some shots, and see how I do. One thing I did notice shooting the XDM was the trigger feel, not necessarily the actual trigger pull, because the pull to me is different, but it's not worlds better. It's different. It's still very squishy on the XDM, but I will say that the Glock has got this this little inner trigger safety, which the XDM does too. But when you pull it on the XDM, it actually goes flush with the trigger. And then the shape of the trigger feels a lot better than the shape of the Glock. When you pull this back, that middle blade is still protruding. And so you feel that. And it's not necessarily the best ergonomics on the trigger. So I've never had an issue with it. I've shot entire competitions with a Glock and I've gotten used to it. But if I were to choose one, the trigger feel in this, like the actual, like when you put your finger on the trigger, it feels a lot better. Now, as far as the trigger pull on this, I'm just so used to Glocks that I don't mind it at all. One thing, I don't know if you're gonna see this. I've got, you can see on this rear sight, I've got a piece of plastic from this plastic sight. It's like a molding. You see that? I don't notice that before. Like I said, I've not shot this gun before. There it is. It's like a little black plastic molding piece of crap. I need to get like a razor blade and get that off. That's kind of annoying. But today, for right now, we'll shoot it as it comes from the factory. Oh, it's moving. Maybe I can get that out. Not that way. Huh. Weird. We got the Glock 40 first rounds. I will say it doesn't fit in my holster quite as well as the XDM does. Granted, I made this holster with the XDM in mind. Alright, first rounds. It's a little slippery over here on the ice. We're going to go for the 20-yard, 12-inch plate. 2 rounds on that. Let's see how that goes. Oh, it's bigger. Okay, that's weird. So, this slide is huge. And I can literally feel it like come back and then go forward, which I don't think I've ever actually felt on a gun before. That's weird. I can literally feel it like dip forward when it comes back into battery. Okay, that's different. Definitely a completely different experience than shooting like a Glock in 40 or 9mm. It's cool. I mean, I love all guns, so it's hard to not love something like this. This is just fun. Right on target at 20 yards. Now, I'm doing a 6 o'clock hold, kind of aiming the bottom 2/3 of that plate, and from the factory right on. So let's see if I can run the plate rack now. Make sure nothing's getting caught in that. Alright, plate rack. Oh, bag rip. Nice. Very cool. Alright, 100 yards. What do we think? I think I got real lucky with the XDM hitting that 100-yard plate. It's a 12-inch plate at 100 yards. I don't think I'll hit it again, but it's always fun to try. Got it. I'm not going to try again. I'll just stick 2 for 2. Let's see. And I think I've got one more round in here. And there is a 40-yard, 12-inch plate. Let's just see what that does here. Nice. These guns, both of them are just lasers. I really like how they shoot. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this on my finger, but from shooting that Glock, come on, focus. Anyways, it already is kind of starting to bite into my knuckle right there on my middle finger. Got a nice indent there, and it's turning red. If I shot another 100 rounds, I guarantee this would be blistered skin. That's why I radius that on all the Glocks that I have, because that little angle right there just gets me. It must be the way I hold it. It is something that is easily fixed for me. Gosh, I love both these guns. Crap. I was hoping that there'd be like one standout winner to both of these guys, but man, they are just both good. Like I said, I've not had an XDM before, but I really like how it shoots. You can see that my familiarity definitely lies with the Glock when I was shooting that plate rack. And granted, this is such a small, non-scientific sample test that you can't hardly, give a nod to one or the other in this small amount of shooting. I've just literally ran one magazine through each gun, and it's kind of just my first impressions. Now, if I were to say which one I like a little bit more, I'm almost leaning towards the XDM. It feels nice. The trigger's comfortable. There's not too many hot spots on it. The sights are really cool. I like that front fiber optic. They're metal sights. Granted, you can change all this stuff up on the Glock. Now, as far as which one I plan on keeping, I don't know. I might have to keep them both. I will say that the aftermarket on the Glock is massive. Even for this relatively obscure model of Glock, it's definitely not one of their mainstream models. You can buy aftermarket barrels, and the magazines are not that expensive. The XDM magazines are like $30, and that's right now. Who knows what happens in the future with all these crazy talk of bans? But you can get aftermarket magazines for the Glock. You can get like ETS 30 rounders for $20, which is pretty cool. I'm not really big on the high cap stuff, but I thought that was cool. It's out there. You have the option to do it. The XDM, you can buy a couple little things. There's a couple companies that really specialize in XDs and XDMs, but honestly, it just pales in comparison to the amount of aftermarket support that the Glocks have. I don't know. I like them both. What do you think? Which one would you rather have? Hey guys, thanks for watching. I might do a little bit more shooting out here on this range. It's just a beautiful morning. But I don't know. I'm gonna have to play around with these a little bit more to see which one really tickles my pickle, which one I decide to keep. And Glock, 5 rounds. I do shoot the Glock a lot better. That's just me. I do shoot the Glock better. I definitely have thousands of rounds through the Glock platform and 50 through the XDM. I shoot high on that XDM. I can see it. I know exactly what I'm doing.